Hey guys, RC here. All right, well, we have had an issue, uh, and I have been posting on the OOTP forums to try to figure it out. Uh, right now, they've had me upload my save file to them, uh, but I have found a workaround. So here's the issue: in creating a historical league and then deleting all the real players and then creating fictional rosters, for whatever reason, Out of the Park is not generating rookies for the amateur draft in version 18. Don't know why. I've started at least 5 leagues trying different things. I've tried some things people have suggested on the forums over at OOTP, no avail. I went back this morning to try to start one in version 17. I hadn't done that before. I hadn't played this style before at all. So I said, let me go try it in 17, and lo and behold, it worked. Same setup, same selections and everything else, and the amateurs were created. So that tells me there's a problem with version 18 in this instance. But now that they are aware of it, so hopefully they can get it addressed. So then I said, okay, well, what if I take that version 17 game that worked? I simmed out 1 year in version 17. Rookie class was created, imported rookies, no problems. I said, what if I take that and I use the import function to import a league from the previous version? So I did that. Went back into the settings here and checked everything off. And wouldn't you know, it worked. We're generating rookie classes. So that's I don't know why, but anyway, so it worked. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to continue from this point with the historical Let's Play. It is fictional. It was created in version 17 and imported to version 18, and I had 1 year sim in version 17 just to see if the rookies would generate. And then once I imported it, confirmed all the changes that I needed to make. There were a few things that I had to go back and tweak again. I have now simmed up to January 1st of 1970. So first off, let's go look at the let's kind of look through some of the history of the league, and that's what we'll mostly be doing. I just kind of wanted to catch you guys up on what was going on. Tell you what, before we do this, let's pop into the settings. So if you want to do this, you create a historical league. You come into the league settings as commissioner. You're under commissioner mode, which you can turn off later. So when I take a job, I will turn commissioner mode off. But what you do is you clear the rosters here. Then you go into the player list. And go into the free agents. And in commissioner, you'll have this option here. And you delete all the free agents. Now, I'm not going to do that right now because I've got 10 years now. So, but that's what you do. You delete all the free agents. Then you come back to your league options. And what I did is I filled the teams with fictional players. And then I cleared the rosters. And I did that 4 times. And then once I had cleared the rosters 4 times, dumping 4 drafts worth of players into the free agent pool, I erased the league history. So all those moves that, assigning and demoting and all that was wiped out. And then you run a free agent draft, which I did for I think it came out to 100 rounds. It was 100 rounds worth. Um, and that was to basically fill the 3 minor leagues and the major leagues. That's where I came up with that number from. And then once you're done with that, then you just start simming. So that's kind of how you set that up. So now let's go back and look at the history index. Let's see. That's the Senators. I tell you what, let's look at we've had expansion that happened. So again, I started in 1960. 1961 we had the first expansion of the league, and I think I'm going to turn expansion off at this point because I don't think I want any more expansion at all. So we brought in who did we bring in? We brought in Kansas City and Milwaukee. California's changed team names. Houston came in. They went from the Colt 45s to the Astros. We also brought in the Dodgers were already there. I think the Padres were the other team that we brought in. Everybody else, I think, was it was 2 teams per league, so 4 teams. So let's now see. I want to see if I can find the World Series champions. Oh, well, this is it right here. Okay, so starting back in 1961, Minnesota beat the Phillies in the first World Series. Minnesota would make it back, losing to the Reds. Then it was the Phillies over the Orioles. The Reds made it back and won their second title over the Angels. The Dodgers win their first title over the returning Orioles, who are now 0-2 in the World Series. The Giants become the second West Coast team to make it, but lose to the Twins, who win their second title in 3 tries in 6 years. That's pretty astounding. The Dodgers get back and win their second title over the Orioles, who become the hard luck team with 3 losses in the World Series. The Angels make their second series, beating the Giants, who get back for their second series and are now 0-2. And then Cleveland defeated the Mets this past year. So that's the champions that we're dealing with. Now I want to look at we'll just kind of thumb through here a little bit. I have the Hall of Fame is set for after 1 year instead of 5 years. I don't think in an online league, in a let's play like this, 5 years is a long time. So we'll make it 1 year. Nobody has been elected yet. So we also erased all of our histories. So let's look at season and career records just to kind of get a look. So here's our batting record. So 378 by Milt Simonetti. He's also the career leader with a career 355 average, and he is retired. So let's take a look at him. He's a leaderboard guy. So Philadelphia, the Cubs, the Angels, Philadelphia again, Boston, the Dodgers, and back to Boston. So strangely, he bounced around a lot. Led the league in hits 1 year with 225, 101 homers, 673 RBIs, 1,366 hits, led the league in batting 3 times. If you have not seen the first 2 videos kind of going through this, let's take a look at his profile or his ratings. No, profile is what I want. Oh, because he's retired. Okay, well, if we look at his ratings, you see our ratings are turned off. We also have stars turned off. The only thing we have turned on is the other offensive ratings, and that's on a 1 to 10 scale. Pitching ratings are also off, but you will see their types of pitches, but not those ratings. stamina, holding runners, you'll see that. So we have the others turned on, the regular ratings turned off. So it's a semi stats only. We do have a few ratings that we can look at to judge from. So just to kind of keep that in mind. Um, let's see. Let's look at his history. So he was originally a ninth round draft pick by the Phillies in the inaugural draft. Uh, Signed a 2-year contract with the Cubs, won the MVP in the National League Championship Series. What, 3-time Gold Glove, 3-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger, uh, World Series champion in 1967, and National League Championship Series MVP. So Rat Breath had a pretty good career, even though he bounced around a lot. Oh, you know what? Let me check something else. Yeah, we're allowing 10-year contracts. So I was just wanting to make sure that I hadn't left that at a like a 1 year, 1 year at a time thing. So let's see. Runs scored 153 by John Kunert. He is currently with Baltimore. Was with the Dodgers in '67. He's also the career leader with 1,075 runs. Hits, Joe Hodge, 1854 on total hits. Chris Cody, 234 hits in the 1968 season. About 47 homers for John Brunkow of St. Louis in 1968. Alvaro Garcia with Detroit, 277 career homers. Joe Hodge shows up here again, 157 RBIs and 1,080 career RBIs. 134 stolen bases for Kunert, who also had the runs lead for seasons. 871 career, also 302 caught stealing. Walks, he holds that record. Pitching, we have 2.43 career ERA for Justin Rolshalski, 34 with the Senators. 166 career wins for Juan Orrego from California. Let's see, 302 saves by Justin Thieler. One thing I also did is I set, even though we started in 60, I set it for the financials were set to the 1960 era, but I set the player usage to more modern day, where closers are used normally, and I wanted that to where we would kind of have consistent numbers moving forward from saves and things, innings pitched, and things of that nature. You look at real stats where like Cy Young won like 8 million games because he has supposedly pitched, 12 complete games a day for 20 years or something. Not that he wasn't a great pitcher, but those are some really weird numbers to look at, and the numbers that translates out to is literally it's like 8 complete games a day, for so many seasons. That you kind of scratch your head and go, really? Could that be done? And I'm probably being a little facetious, yes, but still, you look at some of those numbers and you just like, wow, how could that happen? So that is what's happened there. Postseason, I don't think we need to look at that. Best teams, worst teams. I want to look at I'm sure there's a report. That's not, well, we could look at that. So that's our top prospect list. Josh Shaw from San Diego, Chris McGuire from New York. Don't know which New York that is. The Mets. All right. Let's see. Retired players. So we've only had a handful of players retire, starting in 1969. Oh, that's recently retired. Let's look at all of them. All right, so that's a little bit more. Yeah, we've had 20 almost 3,000 players retire in this decade. Um, let's see, Guy Mullen, 125 and 79, a three-time 20-game winner. All right, so we'll probably come across these guys' names a little bit if I see them getting passed up in certain categories. We'll certainly look at them moving forward to try to get a feel for the history of the league. But I did want to just kind of glance at that. Milestone watch. Okay, so we've got Joe Hodge is nearing 2,000 hits. Got a bunch of players getting close to 1,500 hits. Alvaro Garcia, we mentioned him getting close to 300 home runs. Antonio De Jesus getting close to 200. Johnny Elam getting 39 runs away from 1,000 runs scored. We've got three guys that are within 77 RBIs of 1,000 RBIs for their career. Pitcher wise, nobody's up there. 600 games, anywhere from 2 up to 41 games. If they're relievers, they might make that this year. If they're starters, maybe half of those guys can make it to 600 games for their career. And saves, we've got one guy from the Astros, Leo Corona, getting close to 300 saves. I thought there was a way to look at. Oh, here we go. All right, so here's the farm systems because that's something I think we'll want to consider. Um, Cardinals have the number one system. Mets, Braves, Phillies, Sox. The Dodgers, Giants, Orioles, Reds, Twins, all those teams have made a lot of multiple World Series, so you see they're all down towards the bottom. The Dodgers have nobody ranked inside the top 100. So that'll be interesting to kind of keep an eye on. And I thought there was a way to look for career records, maybe. I don't know. League history, logs, reports. Team statistics, maybe. Player, team. No, that's not what I want. Combined. All right, that's not helping me any. All right, well, let's look at this and let's kind of look at who. Let's go back to standings here. Okay, so let's make a list of who the worst teams are. So we've got the Yankees, Kansas City. I'm not going to play with them because I'm already playing with them in another Let's Play. Milwaukee, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Montreal, 64 wins. That's the same as the Yankees. So Montreal, Milwaukee, Kansas City, Boston's at 66. What did I say Atlanta was at? 68. So Boston. So surprisingly, some really good teams are actually at the bottom of this list. All right, let's go in and take a look at these. Let's look at Boston. Is there a way? I'm trying to see if there's any history in here. All right, well, they're in rebuild mode, very big, great, 89. So they haven't lost anything here. Making about $3.5 million. So I'm going to make some notes here. All right. The Yankees. All right, they're breaking even barely. All right, so the Yankees are breaking even, which that's a little surprising. Fan interest is down, loyalty, I mean, they've got a huge market, but they've got a middling budget. Wow, their developmental budget got jacked up by $1.3 million this year. That's insane. Just out of curiosity, yeah, I mean that's 2.1 million over the over the baseline, which is the league average. So that's nuts. Let's look at Montreal. Finances. All right, they're making about $1.2 million. They don't have a very good farm system either. So that could make it a little tough on us. Because I think, if we look at it from a perspective, a game perspective, the game's only going to fire I mean, let's come in and look at this. They're not going to fire the Cleveland manager, the Baltimore manager, you know, even the Washington and Detroit managers. I mean, they're 24 games over 500. Yeah, they're 16 back, but I mean, they had respectable seasons. What I was looking for was a career uh, statistics. I think that's only this year. Yep. I'm thinking it's got to be in the history. Okay, well, yeah, here we are. All right, so we can look through this. All right, so Atlanta, this is what I want to look at. So Atlanta lost $10 million the first year, and they've basically been break even ever since. They've made about about $500,000 in 8 years. They have finished no higher than third, ninth, and sixth the last 2 years. So I could certainly see Atlanta firing their manager, and they would be a pretty tough team to take over. It looks like. Let's see, Boston. Well, let's see, Atlanta again. So they're under 500. Boston's actually over 500. most of that was in 65, and then they gave a lot of that back this year, being 30 games under. Uh, Fifth, sixth, fifth, and fifth after winning the division. They've either won it or finished really low, but they are $9 million to the good. All right. Yeah, California is not going to be firing their manager. That's too bad. Houston's another team I would like, but they've been trending up and they actually won, so they aren't going to be looking to fire their manager. I am preferential to American League, but that doesn't mean anything. I don't really care. Um, they're basically a 500 team, but after competing, they've really had a tough 5 year stretch. They finished sixth, but they lost 10 more games. That's really bad to move up and lose and win less games. That's crazy. Uh, 10 games under the Pythagorean. Now they are 11 million to the good, so attendance is down about a million from their high point. Milwaukee, not Minnesota, Milwaukee. Oh, Milwaukee just joined the league. Okay. Is there another? Who else just joined? Because there had to have been somebody else. I'm going to have to go through individually because I don't remember my history that well. At least not to this level. All right. Kansas City? I thought Kansas City joined in 61. 62. All right, so Kansas City, Milwaukee, Montreal, San Diego. Okay, I don't know why I was thinking it was 61 or 62 when that happened, but those were the four teams I mentioned at the beginning of the video. All right, so I'm not thinking one of those four teams. All right, so we're going to take Kansas City out, San Diego, Montreal, we're going to take them out, and Milwaukee, we'll take them out. I don't think they're going to fire their first year manager after 1 year, yeah, irregardless of their finish. So that gets us down to Philly, the Yankees, Boston, and Atlanta. Um, let's kind of look through a couple more here real quick. The Dodgers tailed off, but dang, they've been really consistent. 2 world championships in the last 5 years. I don't think he's going anywhere. They're going up. They've come up and they've been pretty consistent, plus a winning record, almost 30 games, 25 games over 500. They're at the top of their game, coming off a championship. They've bounced back up to second and haven't been any worse than fifth. So yeah, I don't think they're going anywhere. The Cubs could have been a possibility, but they've actually gotten to 500 and then a winning record the last 2 years, so I think they're probably happy with their manager. White Sox made the World Series. California is right up there. They're a top tier team right now. So yeah, I'm thinking Boston, Atlanta, the Yankees. I think the Yankees would probably be really ready to fire a manager at this point. The Mets probably were not happy, but look, they just jumped up, so maybe they hired a new manager in '69 and got the rebound there. Oakland, I think Oakland might have been a team to look at, but again, I think even though they're just under 500, I don't know. Does finishing in second place but still being under 500, would that warrant a change? Plus, they've lost $14 million. All right, so right now we've got Atlanta, Boston, Oakland. I'm going to put Oakland in there. The Yankees. I think the Phillies. Pittsburgh climbed up. Now Pittsburgh could still, they're kind of in that ballpark with Oakland. They came up to fourth, which was pretty good, but they're still 14 games under 500. So let's put Pittsburgh in there. San Diego, we said, would not be changing. Yeah, I don't think San Francisco's looking to make a change. They have not made the playoffs yet. Pretty proud franchise. Even finishing fourth, those are the only good years. This year they were third and we're still 10 games under 500. So let's add St. Louis to that list. And they're 7 million in debt. And Washington. Now they had a pretty good year. They've been over 500 pretty regularly, so I don't think they will. All right, so let's come in now and look at these teams. So we have 7 teams that we're going to consider managing, and I'd like some input from you guys. So I'll put the video up today. Take a look at it. I'll leave it up for a couple of days before I start playing. Let me know who you guys think. I already have an idea of who I want, but this will kind of make my mind up for me. All right, so Atlanta, below average, average, and 50. And they're not drawing squadouche. So that'll be pretty hard to, that'll be a tough team to take over, I think. I mean, they are breaking even, but they're right at the bottom in budget and payroll. Okay. So let's go to the next team is Boston. All right, now they're very big, great, and 89 interest. So 20,000 season tickets, roughly. Lower capacity, only 33.3, but that's Fenway. But they're still bringing in 16 million revenue, and they're not winning. So I think financially they'd be a good team to go with, but where does that put us? I'd rather play with that than what we saw with Atlanta, but I'm going to kind of leave that up to you guys. All right, Oakland. All right, they have tiny, average, and 54. So they have the smallest market out of anybody else, at least that we've looked at so far. The Yankees. I really think the Yankees would probably be the team that would be most likely to be ditching their manager. But I think any of these teams would be viable. Philadelphia. All right. Astronomical. Good, and 48. So again, they're on pretty solid financial footing. Not great, but they have a low payroll and they probably have a lot to work with. 3 million for extensions. All right, let's see. Upcoming free agents. All right, so they do have free agents. I was trying to see how much they had for free agent offers, and I may not be able to tell at this time of the year. And I don't know if you want to see what their owners are. A hands-off penny pincher, wants to make a profit. Okay. Pittsburgh. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, so I'm not very big into Pittsburgh, but I did like this. I did like the We Are Family Pirates, so that wouldn't be the worst thing that ever happened to have to manage them. So we've got average, above average, and 54. What's their owner look like? Hands off, charitable, tolerant. Okay. And the last one is St. Louis. Third place, but 19 games out. Again, they have not won very much, so average, good, and 74. All right, so you guys can look at those numbers. I just kind of wanted to look at them all. Um, I haven't looked at players at all because my thinking is any of these teams you're going to end up having to probably make over anyway. Um, if I had my druthers, I think the two hardest teams to play would be Atlanta and Oakland. Oakland being the hardest, Atlanta being second. Um, if we want a difficulty factor figured in, or the biggest turnaround. Um, After that, I think we're looking at probably Pittsburgh would be alone in that next tier. Um, Fan interest in Philadelphia is actually the worst of the bunch, but they at least they've got the biggest market size and they've got good loyalty. So a lot of these teams still have good loyalty. Pittsburgh's above average, Atlanta's average, Oakland is average. So that's why I think Oakland and Atlanta would be the hardest. Pittsburgh would be kind of alone in that next group. And then I think you have the rest: Boston, the Yankees, the Phillies, and the Cardinals would be in that next tier. Uh, Probably a little easier to turn around, but still obviously a lot of work to do. As we noted with the Yankees and St. Louis, they've never even made the playoffs. So um, anyway, take a look at those 7 teams. Kind of look back through the video at the numbers that we were talking about. And hey, chime in below. Let me know who you guys think. If you want me to go with one of the harder teams, I will. Um, my druthers, I think, would probably be to take one of the other 4, and I really wouldn't care which one. Um, I'd probably stay away from the Yankees just on principle, because they are the evil empire. Not so much today, but they've been the evil empire as long as I've watched baseball. Um, but that's a reason to like them too. I mean, I respect the heck out of them. Just I'm not a bandwagon jumper, and I don't. So I've never pulled for them. Um, Boston, uh, St. Louis, Pittsburgh. I'd be happy with even the Phillies. You know, uh, Again, being a Cowboy fan, it's really hard to like Philadelphia, but I could certainly I appreciate the passion, but they have, like I said, the worst fan interest. So you have to overcome that, and that's just done by winning. So that's probably actually realistic. They're not winning very much, but uh, they have the largest market size, and they have an above average fan loyalty. So, it's there. You just have to win with them. So take a look. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Not sure how many people will actually vote, but throw your vote out there, and we'll look at that and tell me which team you think I should take over. I want to do it just based on the numbers here, not the rosters. Um, so that's why we haven't looked at that. Anyway, I will probably, like I said, leave this up for a few days, and you know, unless I see kind of a quorum forming with some early returns, then we may just jump on board so I can play some this weekend when I've got time. But anyway, take a look. Thanks a lot. We'll see you guys later. And I'm really glad that we were able to get this to work, even though it was in a big workaround, having to use 2 games to make it happen. But what are you gonna do? Take care, guys. We'll see you later on. Have a good one.